Hi, welcome back to the shop. This is Shoptalk number 5, March 2015, and we have a lot of things going on. First I wanted to mention a fellow YouTube machinist. It's Brad Jacob from Basement Machine Shop. Check out his channel. He does most of his stuff is machine restorations, and lastly he did a surface grinder, and he did a very nice job. He's very much into details. He just did a nice job, how it should be. Also, he has a restoration of a big dividing head that's also worth watching, and his updates from the underground are very entertaining and they're well edited, so go check him out and watch his videos. Also, I have to mention the Machining YouTube group on Facebook. That's a very polite, very friendly environment for all kinds of machining related topics, machining, fabrication, and just it's a nice place to do some conversation, and the guys there are friendly. The admins there, Ben Zentner, the founder of the group, James Greene, who does a great job in the administration, and also John Miles. They all keep up a nice group, and the guys there are all very polite, very friendly, professional, and check it out. There are a lot of people there that have a YouTube channel themselves, and there are also a lot of people that are just there to do conversation, and check it out. It's a nice place. If you're using Facebook and you're a machinist, check it out. Also, I have to thank you because I'm well over 1,000 subscribers right now. I'm at 1160 by the time this video is shot, and again I have to thank you all. I would never have believed that I would ever reach that much people with the stuff I make and get that much nice comments, and thank you all. That's incredible. It's awesome. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, somebody asked if I couldn't talk a bit more to the camera, but we are a bit camera shy. The Bavarians are a bit camera shy, so most of the time you will have to live with my talking hands, but I will try to show myself from time to time to the camera and talk to the cameras. And we have a few things going on. First, we have a new grinding vise. I have a short clip of this, and we have mail. Let's see what we got in here. We got a precision tool vise, some candy. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we have one nice grinding vise. I got this vise from eBay. This size goes for around 40 bucks, and generally speaking they are very precise. They are ground to a high degree of parallelism from the bottom to the inner flat surface. They are very square all around, and they are just nice finished. This one has a width of 50 millimeter and can clamp up to 65 millimeters. That's not bad for such a small vise. I like these very much because you can put them this way on the machine, you can lay them on the side, they still are square. You can also put them on the machine this way, and work you do with these generally comes out very, very precise. This one still has the conservation goo on it, so I'm going to take it apart and clean it. They always have this spherical washer in here that gives the screw some range of movement. This is the inner piece, that's the anchor piece, and this is the wise body itself. And I'm just going to clean it with some WD-40. That's enough to clean off all the factory glue. And also this edge is like a razor. Again, a ruby stone just to break the edge very lightly. You don't want to put a big chamfer on the edge. That will give you problems when you're going to clamp small pieces on a very short stick out. And also I'm running the stone over the surfaces to get rid of any burr. Yeah, this stuff is always pretty dirty when you get it. But as said, a good precision-wise from a named manufacturer is way more expensive, and I don't like the big hydraulic and mechanical actuated wise like the Hilma, Arno, and I think the Kurt wises. I don't like them. It's not I'm sure they're great wises, but for the kind of work I do and that I do at work, I love these. At work I have two 100mm screwless wise on my CNC machine, and that's a great setup. That's something to work with. Okay, first we're going to check if this is parallel to each other, just by using the mic. I'm zeroing it here, and we're just measuring the difference from here to here and to the other side. Okay, this is 0. One thousandth of a millimeter. And also 1/1000 of a millimeter. This measurement here, this is 0.22 and 0.22 here, so this jaw is parallel to the outside. Yeah, this is a class 00 square, and against light I have my flashlight behind it. There is a slight gap on the bottom, but that's okay because the fixed jaw of the vise will actually bend under the clamping pressure slightly upwards, and then it's square. But that's fine. I'm happy. Some people always say that these vices are hard to use. You just use a Allen wrench without the ball at the end, and you push it, and you set it in your screw, and then you can just go from position to position. then you can do your adjustment. Clamp your part, do your machining, loosen it, move your jaw. I also have these two tiny grinding vices. I use them as sub vices. I put them in the bigger vices when I need to machine something at an angle. You can also, as long as your part is clamped in the smaller vise, you can transfer the vise from machine to machine. First you do your milling operations, then you go over to the drill press, and you can move it to the shaper and maybe to the lathe with the magnetic chuck to do a grinding operation. So I can only recommend these type of vices. I never had a problem with them. Screwless vices. Cheap and very good. And we're back. And also I was asked by Christopher Besley, I think is the name, about the boring bar I used for the line boring on my tool post. It's a standard design for boring bar. I think Keith Fenner showed them in detail too, but this is a much smaller version of it. In fact, it's a piece of cold rolled steel, 200mm long, 16mm down. It has in the center a 3mm hole drilled through where the cutting bit sits. The cutting bit is just a piece of 3mm carbide, a broken end mill, and it's ground as a boring tool with a good amount of lead angle here to give a softer cut. It's clamped by a 3mm set screw up here, and behind it is a 4mm set screw. You can see here, and this is used. I turn this. The cutting bit advances. This is used for fine adjusting the diameter of cutting, and this works pretty good. You have to use a dial indicator with a flat tip against the cutting edge to check your check the actual advance of the cutting bit and to calculate your diameter. But this works very fine. The bar has sanders on both ends and can be driven between sanders with a lathe dog. The dog can be clamped on this surface here that's milled on, or you can also just clamp one side in the 3-jaw chuck and run the other side with a live sander like I do most of the time. The line boring process is very interesting. It gives you a very round and very straight or very parallel hole all along your workpiece. So Christopher, I hope this helps you, and thank you for your questions. And speaking of the tool post grinder, I also finished the box for the tool post grinder and also made a brass sign for the box, and I will show you that. Okay, we're at the bench. As I said in the video of the tool post grinder, I went to build a box for the tool post grinder, the power supply, and some of the accessories. So I did, and this is what I came up with. It's a box made from 8mm plywood, put some hardware on it, and you can see it contains the tool post grinder, some grinding points, some grinding wheels. Down here are the collets for the grinding spindle. Power supplies below this cover. There is the plug where the grinding spindle is plugged in, and everything has its place there. And you can close the box up here. And it's a pretty heavy unit. I stained it with teak color, and it came out awful. It has this reddish taint to it that I was thinking would look way better. I knocked down the dye on the corners with some Scotch-Brite to give it an aged look, and now it's okay. I can live with it. Last thing to do is to engrave a small brass plaque that will go down here. That will say what's in the box, when it's made, and my name. Here I have the box with the master copies for my engraving machine. I'm going to lay out what I need there. The first line should say Supportschleife. That's German for tool post grinder. So then I want a line where it says when it was built. Okay, that's Baujahr, that's year of building in English, January 2015, and I want there to have Feinwerk Süd. We have Supportschleife, Baujahr 01/2015, Feinwerk Süd. Okay, for the engraving we want the workpiece to be very flat on the machine's table, and to do this we are using a parallel. We're going to use double stick tape to glue the workpiece on to the parallel. The parallel will be held down on the machine table with 2 clamps. We clean everything up with some denatured alcohol, so we get the right stickiness. Put a piece of tape on it, and now it's a matter to get it straight onto the parallel. I'm using a second parallel that I'm going to hold against the edge. Now I have a fence where I can align my workpiece when I'm gluing it on. This is not a high precision operation, so because I'm just engraving a sign. Okay. Okay, we're over at the template table, and I already put the first line into one of the template slots. These slots have a dovetail shape, and the templates have a bevel on each side, so they fit pretty tight into the slots, and you put a end piece on each side so nothing goes moving. Lock them in place, and now I need to figure out my ratio of the pantograph. I have a length here of 140 millimeters of this line, and my sign is 60 millimeter long. So 140 divided by 60 gives me a ratio of 2.33. To go a bit smaller, I'm going for 2.5 ratio of 2.5 to 1. And that will give me a height on the characters of 20 divided by 2.5 gives me 8 millimeters of height, so that's fine. Okay. There is a scale engraved on these 2 bars of the pantograph, and you can change the ratios by loosening these locks and moving and changing the pivoting points. This is the one axis and this is the other axis. And now I need to go to 2.5. There is 2.5 and we need to align this on the slider, this mark with the 2.5 on the long bar. Okay. Here is 2.5 and I'm going to align my slider on this side also. There is also a millimeter scale down here, and that's used for odd numbered ratios. There are two formulas in the manual of the machine to calculate the ratios on these bars for every reduction ratio between 1:1 and 1:50. Now we have the pantograph set up and we can go on to engrave. Of course I need to align my cutter, or the position of my cutter, with my workpiece. I'm moving my stylus over here into my first character that's going to be engraved. And by loosening, down here is a locking mechanism. By loosening this, I can move the whole pantograph table back. This is to enlarge the ratio, the work envelope. And I'm going to use some cutting oil, as this sheet brass is a bit hard. It's kind of gummy, so let's go. We're over at the device and now we're going to release the piece from the double stick tape, and I put just some denatured alcohol here, and I'm very careful with prying with a single edge razor blade. And as you can see, I already cut myself earlier this week, so I'm a bit more careful than normal. This is my safety advice. Don't cut yourself and bleed over your work pieces. It's gross. Don't pry too much with the single edge razors because they tend to break. Instead, use a screwdriver. And just go slowly. The tape will release sooner or later. And as you can see, this is always a bit of a mess to get off the remains. Okay. and I'm cleaning the sign with alcohol to make it free from any cutting oil we used before, because I want to inlay the engraving with some black paint. And I'm just using black spray paint. Just give it a good cover with the black paint and let it dry. And meanwhile, while the color is drying, the not so funny task of sorting the master copies back into their compartments. Okay, fast forward, it's not too bad of a task. Okay, now for the messy part. We're using some Shoptalk to clean off the excess paint, or at least most of it. Very lightly damp a piece of paper with some denatured alcohol and give it a wipe. And now it starts to look like a sign. I will let the color in the engraving dry now, completely dry, and then I'm just polishing over with some gray, that's the superfine Scotch-Brite over it, just to give the metal, just to remove some of the scratches. Some side note, I cut my Scotch-Brite down to pieces that small because that's about the size you need when you're polishing small pieces. They fit around 2 fingers or 1 finger, and you can work your part that way, very efficient. And if it's gunked up and doesn't cut anymore, you can just throw it away and use the next small piece. As the Scotch-Brite is pretty expensive, that's a good way to save some money. So. Okay, I think that doesn't look too shabby. I'm happy with it. Oh, and I also have 2 upcoming videos, project videos. One is out of the M1911 series, my miniature M1911. It tackles the matter of the magazine spring. And the other project will be this small grinding vise and this hunking piece of tool steel. And there's a short teaser right here. So stay tuned for those 2 project videos. That's it for this Shoptalk episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want, leaving a comment, subscribe, maybe hit the like button. Just I'm very happy about any feedback I get, so thank you for watching and see you next time.